Hello everybody and welcome back to NCAA 2004, the Alabama Crimson Tide Dynasty, and we are finally here in the very last game of our season. It's the most important game, as I've said a million times already, but this one is the national championship, so there's at least some basis of truth in that. And we're going against the Maryland Terrapins, who we have already played before in this Dynasty mode. We played them. They were the first game in year number 3, I believe. We played them on the road in College Park at their place, and we just barely beat them out 24-21. I think it was Carlos Cobb's first game. It might have been his first game in his only season as a member of the Crimson Tide. But Maryland Terrapins really need zero introduction whatsoever. They've literally not had a season with less than 11 wins since the sim has started. They've been the perennial contenders for a whole lot of things. They've won the ACC 4 times out of the 6 years that we've played through. They've been just as dominant as we have, just on the other side of, I don't want to say the other side of the country because just a little bit north than us, but in the other side of college football. In the ACC, we're in the SEC. So they've been completely dominant in the ACC. And remember, this is old college football. They're never going to the Big Ten. They're always going to stay in the ACC. So that's what Maryland's just going to bully the rest of the ACC for the rest of time. But they have a really impressive roster for the most part. It is actually relatively young, so there's a good chance that we could see Maryland again furthermore in the future. And there already are a few teams who we do see every year, like Colorado State, Southern Miss, Texas, us, so Maryland's just one of those teams that's just always kind of going to be up here, kind of like in the modern day. We have Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, and stuff like that. So, but we're going to get into this Rose Bowl and hopefully take home a bowl win and a national title win. And on the very first play from scrimmage here, right after the opening kickoff, and it's Bentley with a deep shot downfield to Jody Quinn, who's completely by himself on an island, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds just at about the 30, maybe even across. And already, man, we have some forward momentum on offense building for us here as Jody Quinn finds himself on an island separated between the safety and the DB, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds just inside the Maryland 35. So cut to a 2nd and 7 now. Bentley's going to drop back once again here, looks to pass, throws it across the middle, and it's going to be called by Jody Quinn once again for another first down to get the Crimson Tide offense inside the red zone here. And Maryland's defense already struggling here to find an answer for this receiving core, which has got to be the best in the nation. So Bentley's going to try and go for the option here, and he's run down very quickly, but Christian Mitchell's able to get free and loose into open space, and he's going to get into the end zone for the first touchdown of the game for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And so that option play was snuffed out pretty well by Maryland here. You see that? Someone missed a block. I don't know who that was, what receiver that was. It might have been Thomas Samples who missed that block here. But Christian Mitchell able to create something in open space, man. That's what makes him such an effective running back. So 7-0, but Maryland, they're going to try and answer back quickly here as their quarterback, Gabriel Thompson, is able to lay up a deep shot downfield. Didn't see what receiver it was, but if it is, I believe it's Dwayne Ely who was able to catch that one. So cut to a 3rd and 11 here just across midfield. Gabriel Thomas is back once again to throw, and he lasers it to about the Alabama 40. And that one, it's very close, but it's not going to be a first down. So Maryland's going to keep the offense on the field here for a 4th and 2. Gutsy call already. They're going to go with the fullback dive. They're going to go with Antonio Kirkpatrick, their fullback, to try and pick up the rest here. And he's not going to get there. So our D-line stands up firm here. And remember, this is really where the games are won. All of our national titles have been decided by our D-line versus the O-line here. So we have a short yardage situation ourselves now, taking over on offense, and Bentley's able to find Sean Watts downfield for a completion here to get us back into Maryland territory and more importantly, a first down. So 1st and 10 now for the Crimson Tide, rolling here at about the Maryland 35. Bentley's going to drop back once again and flips it across the middle, and it's Jody Quinn once again now laying down the spin move, getting pretty fancy on the ground, and Maryland's defense really is struggling to find any sort of answer to Jody Quinn specifically. That's really it, just Jody Quinn. So 2nd and 3rd now, going to pass again. Bentley under some pressure here. This pressure comes off the edge around the corner here, but Bentley's able to find an open receiver in the end zone for another Alabama touchdown. And Scott Mitchell able to haul this one in here for his first time we're mentioning his name here in this game here, and he's finally going to get a touchdown of his own. So he checks in. Gets his one for the game. At least one. So it got to a 3rd and 5 for Maryland. Now Thompson goes to pass here and gets a first down here, and that after a broken tackle, that receiver's going to get into some open space here. And now Maryland's moving with a little bit of momentum here. We can't pin them out down and out now, as Allen Reese, their top receiver, was able to get into some open space and create something after that first initial bit of contact. So first quarter comes to a close here. We're up 14-0. Maryland with another 3rd and short situation. They're going to go on the ground with their running back, Terry Donaldson, and it looks like he might have gotten there the first down, but there's a flag on the field, and it doesn't matter because there's a holding call, so that's going to get wiped off. And Maryland did get the first down, but that's going to completely erase that play, and that's going to be 3rd and 13 for the Terrapins. And so on a 3rd and 13, what is Maryland's game plan here? Thompson's going to try and throw for it, and pressure's on almost immediately. Pressure gets in. Nobody, absolutely nobody, was blocking Cunningham, as he was able to just pretty much run right up the middle and get all the way to Thompson. So yeah, Kellen Cunningham. Nice play. So 4th and 21, Maryland's going to try for a very long field goal, but they're actually going to go for the fake field goal. And that's their backup quarterback who's running for it. And I have no idea what the game plan was, because they were 21 yards away from the line to gain. So even if they were able to get some open space on the edge there was no chance in hell that was absolutely going to go for 21 yards. I don't know why they wouldn't at least try to throw for it. It makes no sense. But Nat Hoover able to bring down Maryland's backup QB, I guess. Even then, put your starter out there for it. I don't know. Like, come on, better plan. So Maryland's still looking for the first bit of points here, but now we're moving on offense once again. Bentley back to pass, throws one out, deep shot downfield, and it's going to be Scott Mitchell hauling this one in across the 50. And he's even inside the 45. So Stephen Bentley off to an amazing start in this Rose Bowl here. He is just completely automatic. Maryland's DBs have zero answer right now for this offense. Bentley again going through the air, because why not? It keeps working, and that's why we keep doing it. And Scott Mitchell's going to dive for the end zone. I don't know if he necessarily had to. Being a little bit dramatic here, but it's going to safely get us into the end zone. So we will happily take that as we score another touchdown here in the Rose Bowl to take a 21, pending the extra point, 21-point lead over Maryland, who is still searching for the first bit of points here offensively. It's been a struggle, but under a minute and a half left to go in the first half. We are back on offense once again. Bentley back to pass, deep shot down the middle of the field, and it's wide open. And can you believe who that is, guys? Do you see who that is? That is Andrew Solomon, for who's in. And I missed if there was an injury. I don't believe there is, but Andrew Solomon is now in the game. He was the top receiver in the country in last year's recruiting class, and he committed to us here in the offseason. So this is the first bit that we have seen him. I checked his stats. I think he has maybe caught a few passes throughout the year, but he really hasn't even touched the field yet, and he won't probably at least until next year or maybe the year after. But he's got a catch in this game, and he showed up. So why not, man? We'll get the freshman involved. Why not? Probably could have been redshirted, to be completely honest, but oh well. So got to a second goal here. We're trying to get some points before the half is over. Bentley just about gets hit as he throws, but he gets rid of the ball in time, and it's Jody Quinn in the back of the end zone for another Alabama touchdown. And now, pending this extra point, we're going to be up 28-0 over Maryland. I mean, this is one of the best teams in the game. I was even looking at their roster. I'm like, hey, man, they look like they could at least stand toe-to-toe with us. We don't have a ton of depth either. We have a lot of 70s and stuff, in our backup positions like Maryland does, but this is just brutal, man. I don't know what's wrong with the Terps, man. It makes no sense. But we're on offense once again in the third quarter, as Maryland's offense really just can't do anything, and Bentley can do pretty much anything he wants to, as Maryland has zero answer for Jody Quinn. Just none. Already over 100 yards, and we're like within the first minute or two of the third quarter, and he's already got over 100 yards. I mean, it's just, there just isn't anything that Maryland can do. I don't know. What are you guys going to do to help them? I mean, you need more safeties, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know what formation is going to help. So cut to a 3rd and inches here. Maryland finding a little bit of strength here, and we're going to hand this one off to Christian Mitchell, who spins off of that first tackle, but Maryland catches up to the play here, and they're going to give Christian Mitchell zero room to operate at all, and so that one is going to be stopped, and Maryland finally comes up with a stop here and stops our offense. So bring out John Bellamy here for a pretty long field goal, and so on 4th and 1, he's going to kick this one up. It's a bit of a lob, kind of a, I don't know what that was. That was a lame duck of a kick here, and it dies out in the end zone. There might have been some wind, maybe. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but that was a bad kick. So the score remains 28-0 here, but we have the ball once again on 3rd and 5. So Bentley's dropping back to pass from at the 50 here, deep shot downfield, and it is caught by none other than Andrew Solomon once again. And I don't know why he's in playing the games here. I think Thomas Samples is fine. Scott Mitchell's fine. You saw Samples right there in the screen. And Jody Quinn's fine. And we're not at the backup point yet because Stephen Bentley's still in playing. So, but hey, who cares? Andrew Solomon's out there. He's getting his play. Maybe Max Price is hurt. Who knows? Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But it's going to be a handoff to Marquise Houston. He's going to get in and get himself a touchdown for this game. Why not? And so 35-0, guys. 35-0 entering the fourth quarter. 35-0. All right, maybe Maryland can do something here. They're finally moving on offense a little bit, and Gabriel Thompson decides he's going to do it himself here. He's bobbing and weaving around the field, trying to get into some open space, and he finally does and gets a first down and a little bit more. So he's going to set Maryland up at least, maybe to get some kind of pointage after no one can get open and do anything for him. He's just going to do it himself, I guess, and I can't blame him. I really can't. So on a 3rd and 6, you're going to hand it off now to the running back, Donaldson, and he gets tripped up just before the line to gain, but it is a nice little pickup for the Terrapins, and now Maryland's set up here in a short yard situation. They're going to keep the offense on the field for 4th and 2. They're going to go with a handoff once again here, and I have no idea how that was not a touchdown. I don't know. Someone's going to have to review the spot here because I don't know how that was not a touchdown. But Donaldson gets brought down in the end zone grass, but they're going to say he was short. So cut to a 2nd and goal now. They're going to go with a handoff once again, and Donaldson's going to get brought in from behind from a generous tackle. And it looked like I was trying to see who it might have been who brought him in, but either way, Maryland's going to get a touchdown here. They're not going to get shut out in the national title game. They're not. So 35-7 is the score, and now we got the backups in, baby. And do you guys know who this is? That is J.J. Wright, man. He was the 7th running back prospect in the country, and he's on our team, and he's our backup running back behind Christian Mitchell. And here he is getting a massive, massive rushing touchdown in the Rose Bowl. His parents are going to remember that for a long time. That game ball's got to go to him. It has to. A huge touchdown. Look at this burst of speed. This is the thing that I was really happy about. Look at this burst of speed that he has. And if that's what we're replacing Christian Mitchell with eventually, I'm okay with that. That is great. So that would be all the points that are scored in this game. 42-7 is your score. We're going to win our 2nd national title in this series. And remember, we have to gain some ground on Nick Saban because after 5 seasons, he already had 2. And now this is year number 7, and we just got our 2nd. So we might need to be winning a couple back-to-back here moving forward. But we are not losing any progress by any means, but we finally do win the Rose Bowl. And I think that's our first Rose Bowl as well. I tried to remember during the recording of the video. I can't remember if that's our first Rose Bowl, because the first national title game we went to was the Fiesta Bowl. We won the Sugar Bowl against Nebraska, and I think this is our first time in the Rose Bowl. We might have played Texas A&M. I think that bowl game we won against Texas A&M when we went 11-2 in year 3. I think that might have been a Rose Bowl. It's possible. I can't really remember. No, that was the Cotton Bowl. I think we won the Cotton Bowl. So, yeah, I think this is our first Rose Bowl in the Dynasty. I believe so. Someone can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but looking over all my notes I have here, I'm pretty sure that's our first win in the Rose Bowl, our first Rose Bowl game, period. So, big win for the boys. Big win for the boys. Stephen Bentley has a great game, dude. Look at this. Look at this. This is gross. Just look at that stat line, man. Well deserving the Maxwell Award and the best QB in the country, because he is. I have no idea how he's not a Heisman finalist, but whatever. J.J. Wright only touches the ball 3 times, gets 60 yards and a touchdown. That's how we do it here, man. That's how we do it in Tuscaloosa. Christian Mitchell doesn't do much of anything. Jody Quinn, absolutely just the class of it. Maybe they just sat him for the rest of the game, man, because he didn't. Remember, it flashed that stat line earlier in the game, and I mentioned that he had 100 yards in the 3rd quarter, and he didn't touch it again. So, yeah, maybe he just sat after that. Maybe he got injured. I don't think so, but either way, the season's over. But it doesn't really matter what happened with Jody Quinn moving forward. But there is a Rose Bowl trophy. We have one now. Hopefully, it's just one. I think it is just one. I'm going to look again. I'm going to flip again. The only other time, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the only one. I'm pretty sure it's the only one. So, and there is our national title, our 2nd one. We finally have 2 in the Sick Saban era. Alabama's got 2. So I think we've reached the heights of the Nick Saban era, but we're still plenty of work to go. And the Oklahoma Sooners think that our work is done in Tuscaloosa, and it isn't. We are not going to Norman. We are staying exactly where we are, because the goal is to match Nick Saban's production over the same length of career. So we still have, I think, about 10 years left, or maybe a little bit less than that. No, I think we have less. I think we have like 6 years left. But Stephen Bentley breaks the record held by Carlos Cobb for rating. So it's funny. So that was probably like a 3-year record that was being held that was now broken. So when we come back in the next episode, it is going to be off-season festivities. I'm going to add a little bit more stats to the off-season stuff to benefit me here, but when we see you guys, we're going to be looking towards year number 8.